So picture this, a year of pure espresso perfection. This is what the Gemilai semi-automatic espresso machine has given me over the past year. I'm here today to spill the beans all about this machine and why it is worth every single sip. So let's talk coffee. Well, hey there, all you beautiful home baristas. I hope you're all doing super well. Sean here, aka the Drumming Barista, and in today's video, I'm finally giving you my hands-on and very honest review about this espresso machine right here. This is the Gemilai CRM3005G semi-automatic coffee machine, the most craziest name, and yeah, I love it. It is a fantastic espresso machine. There's a lot to love. There's also a lot of things that I want to raise in this video around quite a few cons as well for this machine. But you know, straight off the bat and throughout this whole year that I've had it for, it is a pretty decent espresso machine, and I'll get into more of the reasons why, but would I recommend it for home baristas? Yes, I would. Would I recommend it for anyone that is starting out in coffee? Yes, I would. But, and this is a but, there is a couple of things that you need to be aware of and that you need to make sure you are ready for, because this is a manual machine. Even though it is semi-automatic, it is a manual machine because, let's talk about the elephant in the room, there is no grinder built into this espresso machine. So of course you will need your own grinder or hand grinder that is able to grind well for espresso, and it does need to grind well because this is a powerful little machine. So let's dive into it properly and talk about the pros and cons of this machine. So first and foremost, I've lost count how many times over the year that I've had this machine that you guys have reached out to me on Instagram, on social media, on multiple platforms that I'm on, asking me, would I recommend this machine? Why have I brought this machine? Who is it from? Who is this company? Who the heck is Gemilai? Why is it blue? But also it looks super cool because it matches your brand colors. And I'm like, exactly, it looks freaking awesome and I absolutely love it. Now, just going straight into it, and what I would say to everybody that I talk to on Instagram and on social media about why I would recommend this espresso machine, first and foremost, it's small. It is a small espresso machine, so it doesn't take up a lot of space on your bench. As you can see here, I'm sitting on the edge of my bench in my kitchen. I've got a couple of benches, but hey, look, it takes up this tiny little corner. It hasn't got a grinder built in, so that is a space-saving element. For those of you who are in an apartment or a small townhouse like myself here, it's a fantastic machine because it doesn't take up a whole heap of space on the bench. It is a 1.7 litre water tank in the back here. That just pulls out. I'll lift this up for you guys and you can see it. So here's your water tank. It is 1.7 litres and you can fill this up with water however you like. Max line in there, and it just slots into the back of the espresso machine like this, nice and easy, and then you can just flip the lid over and you're ready to go. The next thing that I would say is one of my personal favorites, and this is actually part of the reason why I did decide to buy this particular espresso machine, is that it comes with a full-size 58mm portafilter, which I just think is absolutely awesome. So what does that mean? A 58mm portafilter is what is traditionally used in cafes around the world. So you will see any type of espresso machine in a cafe will have a 58mm portafilter, which to have this portafilter on this machine is just mind-blowing, and it works really well. It means you can dose from anything from 18 grams of coffee to 22 grams of coffee into your portafilter. This is a spouted portafilter. It does come with a couple of accessories, but it is not a naked portafilter. So for those of you who are keen to try out a naked portafilter and love the beautiful Instagrammable shots, and also for experimenting that you can do with a naked portafilter, then I would recommend investing in a new naked portafilter, because this one is not. Of course, it is spouted, a couple of accessories that come with it. But for me, having a 58mm portafilter in a machine of this size and this budget and price range is just absolutely fantastic. And we'll get to the price towards the end of the video. So yeah, 58mm portafilter, which is absolutely awesome. I'm gonna try upside down to place this back in here. This is going to make some good YouTube offcuts. Nailed it. Okay, so the next thing to talk about, of course, is the steam wand. Now, the steam wand on this machine, in my personal opinion, is fantastic for the type of machine that it is. Of course, when we all buy ourselves an espresso machine, we all want to instantly become the best home barista that we can be and steam up beautiful milk for incredible looking latte art to, of course, impress all of our friends and family that come round for coffee at any time of the day. Now, this particular steam wand on this machine will give you very good results if you know what you are doing when it comes to steaming milk for latte art. Now, that isn't a hard thing to do. It does take a little bit of practice, don't get me wrong. I know I'm a different case because I worked as a barista for quite a long time, so I've got a lot of experience and know what to do. But what I'm saying, this machine will give you fantastic results when it comes to steaming milk for latte art. I'm going to overlay some videos right here over my face that will show you the beautiful looking latte art that I've been able to pour using this machine and using this steam wand. From tulips, hopefully there's a video up there that will be some type of swan, to quite eccentric looking latte art patterns that most of the time you can probably only steam if you were to use a full powered cafe style machine. And this little beautiful Gemilai home espresso machine will do this for you. There is a couple of things to note here. This steam wand tip is a one hole tip. Now, on cafe style machines that you will see in a cafe, of course, the steam wand tip will have 3 to 4 holes on the tip, which means that, of course, there's 3 or 4 jets of steam, of air, essentially, that will be going into the milk to get you a really nice vortex in your jug, helping you texture your milk incredibly well for latte art. This only has 1, which is quite traditional for home espresso machines like this. But as I've already said, it has not held me back from steaming beautiful milk and being able to pour fantastic looking latte art with dairy milk and alternative milks, being oat, coconut, soy, and almond. Now, one of the other questions that quite a few people ask me is, how long does it take to steam a jug of milk? Fantastic question. With this machine, with the single tip steam wand, it takes roughly about 45 to 60 seconds to steam a jug of milk. Now, I've got, I believe it is a 400 to 450 ml milk jug, and I half fill that, maybe just under 3/4 fill that, get it just under the tip of the jug there, and it takes about 45 to 60 seconds to steam that jug of milk. It does take a while, but hey, this is a home espresso machine. It's not meant to be the fastest machine that you will buy because it can't. So this machine has a single boiler. It is not a dual boiler. So what does that mean? It means that you can only extract your espresso at one time, and then you will have to wait until you finish extracting your espresso to then steam your milk. With a dual boiler machine, you can extract your espresso and steam your milk at the same time, which is a fantastic feature, but this machine does not have that. If this machine had that feature, it would probably be about $1,000 more than what it already is. But as I said, we'll come to the price later. So hey, that might be a non-selling point for you. That might be something that you want within the machine, and or you might just be like me and have an extra bit of time and or wake up early in the mornings and have more time to be able to spend creating your espresso or your perfect cup of coffee in the morning. So it's a feature. It's something that this machine doesn't have. It is a single boiler machine. For me personally, it doesn't slow me down. Do I wish it had a dual boiler? Of course, because speed is good. You know, time is of the essence. But hey, as I said already, I've got an extra bit of time that I can spend to really hone in and spend a bit more time with this machine. And so the next part of the machine that I want to talk about is these buttons on the front here. So it does what it says on the tin. You've got a power button, turns it on and off. Your first button here, this is a automatic profile that is already pre-configured into the machine for you for your espresso shot. This is a 25-second shot. I used to use this, but I don't use it anymore. I didn't actually realize it was a pre-configured shot until I timed it one time, because I was like, man, that turns off pretty quick. And then I put my scale on the drip tray just here. I went to then extract my espresso and I looked into it and it stops at 25 seconds. So that is a pre-configured profile, 25 seconds. At the grind sizes that I use, I've been able to get a 30-gram shot from that. So 25 seconds, 30 grams, which is quite an industry standard shot, to be fair. So for those of you who enjoy that side of it, automatic side, then that's the profile for you. So all you need to do is just press that button and it will give you a 25-second shot. This button here is the manual button. Now, it's got like 1 cup on here, and then this is like 1 cup with a hand. So it's a bit of a weird one, but I would imagine, yeah, just a 1 cup and then your manual shot is what that is. Anyway, that was a bit of a weird one. This is the manual mode. This is the mode that I use all the time because I personally myself, as a lot of you would have seen through my Instagram, I play around with my espresso shots quite a lot. I experiment quite a lot as well with different doses in the portafilter and also different yields out into the cup at the same time. So this is the one that I use. This is on a timer, but it shuts itself off after 60 seconds of running, which most of the time you're not going to be extracting a espresso shot for 60 seconds unless you have got your grind size completely wrong, and for the fun of it, you just want to see what type of espresso shot you can get and how much of a yield you can get from that. Pre-configured 25-second shot and manual mode that allows you, of course, to create any type of espresso that you want, which is the mode that I will always stick to. And then, of course, your button here for turning on the steam wand. And so when you do turn on the steam wand, I should have touched on this in the steam wand section, but when you are ready to steam your milk, you just need to press this button here, and these lights will turn off on the single profile and the manual mode, and then this will start flashing to let you know that the steam wand and the inside of the machine is heating up, ready to create steam for you to steam your milk. And so the next thing that I want to touch on with this machine is probably a bit of a deal breaker for some people as well, but not so much for me, as this machine takes about 10 minutes to heat up. Now, don't ask me what the temperature of this machine is because I don't know. And it's hard to know because there's no screen on the front of the machine to tell you what the temperature is. I don't have a temperature probe or a temperature gun to let me know what the temperature of this machine is. I can put my hand on here now. I've had this machine on for quite some time whilst I'm recording this video, probably been on now for about 20 to 30 minutes. And the top of the machine is quite nice and quite warm. It definitely will not heat up a cup unless you've got a really thin cup. A bit of a cheap one maybe, then it will heat it up. But yeah, it is warm, but I don't know what the temperature is because, as I said, there's no screen on the front. So that's a deal breaker for many, a little bit of a annoyance for me. I'm not, to be honest as well, I'm not hugely fussed about that. It does annoy me that I can't figure out what the temperature is, but I come down in the morning, I go into my man cave, if you like. I switch this machine on and then I come out and I boil the kettle because most of the time I make a espresso based beverage for my wife in the morning, then I'll make myself a filter coffee. So in the time that my kettle behind me is boiling and getting ready, then I will have this machine on and it will be warming up. All right, guys, so this leads me perfectly on to the cons of this machine, if you like. Now, honestly, there's not many, and I just want to be straight up from the beginning of this section of the video, as these are quite picky things. There's one con in particular that I really do not like, and for those of you who have got a really good eye and have been able to see it, you may have already seen it, but I will touch on it shortly. But my first con for this particular machine is to do with the heat. Now, we've already touched on the heat and how it heats up and the insides of it and how I recommend or say that it's not hot enough to heat a cup. The other thing that it's not hot enough to do is it's not hot enough to heat up the portafilter. Now, why is this a problem? This isn't so much of a huge problem, but from my experiences working as a barista for the years that I did, all of the portafilters are warm. So every portafilter that you will use or see or touch in a cafe, they're warm because the group head is heated. Now, why is that? In a nutshell, and in a really brief nutshell, because I still don't understand some of the science behind it, but in a nutshell, it helps with the extraction of the espresso. It helps to give you a better espresso shot, a better experience, a better tasting experience, and also, to do with the heat. And then it also heats up the portafilter as well, which also adds to that espresso experience and to help you extract a better espresso shot. This is not hot enough to heat up the group head. It is a little bit warm, but it's not hot. And it is definitely not hot enough to heat up what is quite a considerable, you guys can't feel the weight, but I can, what is quite a considerable weighted portafilter and quite a hefty piece of metal. It's a con for me. So what I do to get around that is, as I mentioned, every morning I make a coffee for my wife or myself. What I do is I boil the kettle that is behind me, and I will pour boiling hot water into my portafilter, and then I'll grab my cloth and I'll just give it a wipe so that obviously it's not wet, which means that the coffee will stick to the inside of my portafilter, but I will heat the portafilter up with boiling water from the kettle. It's a con for me. It's not a big deal, but it is a con, and it's not the most efficient and sustainable way of doing it, because obviously I have to boil the kettle to then heat up a portafilter and pour that water away. I wish it was hot enough to heat the portafilter, but that's it. That is a con for me. It is an annoyance. It may not be too annoying for some of you, but for me, that is. The next thing is, now this is a beautiful looking machine, but the build quality is not fantastic. I will be honest, it's very cheap. It feels quite cheap. It's very hollow. Everything is just quite cheap. The steam wand feels kind of cheap. The steam wand handle, which I don't think you guys can see, but on this side of the machine, there's a steam wand handle. It's like a little wheel. I'll do a little pan around of that so you guys can see it. It's very cheap. It feels cheap. It moves around quite a lot. It rattles around quite a lot. And one of the other things that I don't particularly like, which makes it feel quite cheap for me, I'll turn this around for you guys so that you can see it, is this machine has got a considerable amount of flex. For some people, not annoying. For me, annoying. And it's just a build quality issue that I feel like could have just been sorted out. That's that's a con and a slight annoyance for me. May not be for you, as I've already said, but it is for me. I don't like it. It makes it feel quite cheap. It rattles around quite a lot and it's very hollow. But hey, this is a budget end home espresso machine that will give you a very, very good time. Now, the one thing that I want to touch on, I'm going to move this portafilter out of the way, is the steam wand, the con of the steam wand. As you can see, I hope you can see, this steam wand is dripping. Now, this drips all the time. This has been happening for the past couple of months, and I believe it is down to the fact that the spring on the inside of the steam wand handle on this side of the machine to turn the steam wand on and off is very loose, because the smallest, as you just saw there, the smallest little touch of the steam wand, water comes out of it. And for me, it's constantly dripping. I always have a puddle of water on the side, a puddle of water on my drip tray. And when the espresso machine is back on my coffee bench in my man cave, I sometimes come down to it after it being on and heating up, and there is a puddle of water next to the side of the machine. I just think to myself, that's really annoying. I think it is to do with the spring that is on the inside, so maybe that needs to be tightened, but I don't want to take this machine apart because I'm afraid I probably won't be able to put it back together properly again. So most of the time, I grab a cup, put it underneath, and then that will catch the water that is dripping out of the steam wand, which to me, it just does not need to do that. That's just a quality control issue and a build quality issue, which means that the steam wand handle itself and all the springs or some of the internals do not have a very long lifespan. But guys, That's the only cons I have of this machine. It is a fantastic home espresso machine for the home barista, for the person who is at home wanting to experiment into espresso and already has a very good grinder already on the bench, or a very good hand grinder that grinds espresso coffee well. So to sum up, do I recommend it? Yes, I do. I highly recommend it. Reasons being, number one, to summarize, it's a small footprint. It doesn't take up a whole heap of space on the bench, which I love. It comes in some really cool colors. This is the blue one. There's a cool navy green type army green looking one. And I believe there's an off-white creamy one. Not sure if that's here in the New Zealand market, but I've seen it online. It is a fantastic size. Doesn't take up too much space on the bench. Got a 1.7 litre water tank. It's got a 58mm portafilter. It's got a very good steam wand. It's 15 bars of pressure. But being honest with you guys, I don't know if it actually hits 15 bars of pressure, because once again, there's no pressure gauge on here, so I don't actually know. One thing I didn't touch on, but I will touch on quickly here, but it's not a big deal because I don't think it actually does what it says on the tin. It has a pre-infusion stage. I'm gonna hit this button, the manual button. It's got a pre-infusion stage where it will spurt a certain amount of water onto the coffee puck that is in the portafilter, and then after a couple of seconds it will kick in. But you can see this right now. Pre-infusion stage, not much water that came out of there, and then it will continue on with the shot. So pretty cool feature if you ask me for a machine of this particular price point and this particular build as well. It will create you, as I've already said, a fantastic cup of coffee. It will steam you a beautiful jug of milk for an amazing looking latte art and a flat white latte or whatever kind of drink you are doing. It is perfect for blends. It is perfect for single origins. And the all important question and the answer to that question of what is the price of this machine? Fantastic question. It is currently retailing with my friends at Coffee Tech here in New Zealand for 999 New Zealand dollars. So it is $1,000 espresso machine. It is pricey for what it is, but hey, everything at the moment is going up in price, but I still recommend it. So there we go, guys. Finally, there is my review on the Gemilai CRM3005G semi-automatic coffee machine for home. Fantastic machine, great amount of features for the price point. There is a couple of cons in there. There's some things that I wish would be done better, but hey, you can't have everything, and it does what it says on the tin. It creates me a beautiful cup of coffee time and time again, from blends to single origins to black coffees to white coffees and everything in between. As I've said, I already recommend this machine. If you have any other questions about this particular machine and about anything that I covered here in the video, please guys, drop a comment down below. I will be down there responding to all of the comments. I'll be checking them all out. Thank you for watching my very first full-length YouTube video. It would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button, if you hit the thumbs up button as well. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this is a good video and a channel worth watching and coming back to. And of course, hit that bell so that you are notified of all of the videos moving forward, because this YouTube channel is gonna be starting up a lot more now. It's not gonna be a consistent amount of content, but it will be enough to keep you guys coming back. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to sign off because I'm waffling. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you beautiful home baristas in the next video. Peace.